Greetings, somatic warriors. Welcome back to the Somatic Wisdom and Ethereal Soul. I have been so today is February 1st, and so January has been beautiful and hectic and challenging and lots of juggling and there's been a little more social activity than I've had probably in the last year. For a variety of reasons, and it's been good, and it's been really nourishing and rich and rewarding, and it's also been challenging because some of the people I've been visiting with are friends I've known for a long time, and folks are having some health issues. I mean, we're getting up there, and whether we're getting up there or not, the body responds to stress, and we live in stressful times. We just do. And so I'm going to do a couple of quick videos, and the first one I'm going to do is low blood pressure, because that's me. So I'm going to talk about me first, just because I want to get that part out of the way. These other health conditions that people are experiencing, very interesting, and without identifying who these folks are, I want to talk about some of these medical conditions through the lens of Messages from the Body, Michael Lincoln's book. And this was revised in 2006. So unfortunately, one of the medical conditions that I've been hearing about recently and have heard about previously from two other folks that I'm familiar with is actually not in the book. So I was a little bummed about that this particular medical condition is not something that he's addressing. I'm going to guess that I could probably, based on information in his book, put something together, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. So I'm going to talk about low blood pressure first, because that is something that I have, right? I go in for a checkup, and I mean, this has been happening for 2 decades, probably a little bit longer, but nobody's ever said anything to me directly, but definitely for the last 2 decades. And are you feeling okay? Your blood pressure is really low. Yeah, my blood pressure is always low. Probably the first time I heard that was in maybe 2006, and I had been working at a hospital in San Diego. And every summer we would do health screenings, and we would our team worked the health screening with other staff, nurses and phlebotomists and folks that were doing blood draws and taking blood pressures and things like that, and entering all the data into the database, or who was here and who got their stuff checked. And so as part of our work, we would also get screened. And, inevitably, the comment was, your blood pressure is really low. Are you feeling okay? Are you drinking enough water? Are you feeling lightheaded? And, in the back of my mind, I always wondered, everybody's so concerned about high blood pressure. Like, the majority of folks you will hear have high blood pressure. They're on medication for high blood pressure. It puts you at a greater risk of stroke. It's really quite dangerous to have high blood pressure. But I thought, what is the deal with low blood pressure? What does that mean specifically? That, maybe I'm just dehydrated, or is there something more? Does that mean my heart's not quite working at optimum efficiency? What exactly does that mean? But nobody ever tells me. No doctors, no nurses, nobody ever says anything. Oh, you're probably just dehydrated. But they never say, your heart may not just be pumping in a way that is strong to get your blood pressure up to a level that we see on the bell curve, or that is a median norm. Nothing like that. So if you're familiar with me, if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Valencia Borzoni Scott, and I am a holistic health practitioner. I've been a practitioner for 20 years. I had a private practice in San Diego mainly, and then for a few years in Colorado. And I have been a teacher. I have worked with all kinds of folks, all kinds of demographics, lots of different socioeconomic levels, mainly folks that had money, but I've done some volunteer work too outside of those realms. And I retired. I mean, my license is still good through this year, so that's not to say that I won't find myself somewhere if I really need to, but for the majority for all intents and purposes, I have stopped doing body work, especially in private practice. And I am a published author. My book, Chasing Shade, Living with Developmental Trauma, can be found on most book outlets, Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, Walmart, Target, all the places. The publisher is Balboa Press. I would encourage you, if you are of a mind, to please go directly through the publisher. If it's financial, please get whatever used copy you can, Walmart, Target, Amazon.com. There are also there's print copy and electronic version, and the electronic version is much less expensive because it's electronic, and the print copy has colored artwork in there done by me, and so that always up the price, unfortunately. And so on this channel, we talk about, embodiment practices. We look at the body, we look at health, we look at health conditions, ailments through different lenses. And right now, I'm going to talk about low blood pressure because this is something I have, and I've never looked it up before in this particular book. Again, this is Messages from the Body from Michael J. Lincoln. And, I got kind of curious about this. I wanted to see what he had to say. And if you've read my book, Chasing Shade, Living with Developmental Trauma, you'll see some patterns here. I was a little bit floored, actually. There's lots of notes here. Wow, in the margins. Really interesting for me. Low blood pressure, demoralized, defeatism, Eeyore. Thanks for noticing me. What's the use? It won't work anyway. Giving up and settle for lifestyle. Sacrificial pattern. Purposelessness and letting go of meaningfulness. Both reflect subconscious death wish. Wow. There was the wow. Anxiety, insecurity, frustration, nihilistic, energy forward process of living, withdrawn, family operated in same manner and simultaneously demand that you be the pillar of strength, keeping things together, and cleaning up messes. Loveless and joyless family experience. Family was completely unable to give you any love or hope. No point and no winning in this business of life. Marking time and waiting for rigor mortis. Wow. As you experience the feeling, there must be some way out of here. Okay, so we're gonna stop there. I'm not sure if that was all of it, because I wrote this like 2 weeks ago, I wrote this out. So I'm not sure if that's everything that Michael J. Lincoln has to say about low blood pressure, or if those were just the things that stood out for me. In the margins, I will tell you that I made a note here, I don't want to be here, quote, end quote. And that is actually a birth message, a birth trauma message that I received in a counseling session. I had a rebirth experience pre-verbal, unable to speak throughout this session, but I was consciously aware of what was happening and while it was happening and where I was. And at the end of the session, coming out of that, and just complete and utter terror and a feeling of I don't want to be here. And that was the immediate thought after leaving the birth canal, that I was coming into a place that was going to be so terrifying and that was really scary, and that was based on the information and the experience I was getting in utero through my mother, and that, you know, this was my message. This was my feeling coming in to the world. I don't want to be here, and that has been, life has been a struggle. If you've read my book, if you haven't read my book, read my book. If you have read my book, you know what I'm talking about. If you've known me for any length of time, you know what I'm talking about. You understand this description of low blood pressure and how it matches a lot of my journey. And while it may not have been externally articulated to you or reflected all the time, this description, a lot of this is in my book. And this certainly was an underlying subconscious feeling, and has been something that I've utilized many tools to work through: meditation, Buddhism, art therapy, counseling. I've been in a 12-step program as a member of Al-Anon for 20 plus years, and was just at the convention recently to meet a friend. You know, and this message from the family, you know, this part was very interesting to me. Family operated in the same manner and simultaneously demanded that you be the pillar of strength that keep things together and cleans up messes. And the message that I hear most often from my family, and have heard for decades, is, you're so strong. You're just so strong. She'll figure it out. She's strong. I cannot tell you how dismissive that statement is. It's so dismissive. I would love to have a different descriptor for my journey, my life, my character, the quality of who I am, other than you're so strong. That's you know, I know that folks who are saying that to me as a person mean well, but what it means is that you don't need us. You're strong. You can handle this on your own. And that is a byproduct of having been neglected from childhood. I didn't have a choice. It was either curl up in the corner and die from the age of like 3, or get strong. That was it. So my being strong is a byproduct of my childhood developmental trauma. And that is not, it's not validating, it's not nourishing, it's not loving, and it's not compassionate to say to someone, hey, you know what? I know your childhood was shit, but look at how strong it made you. Fuck yeah, go for it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that really is shitty. That's a shitty thing to say to someone. Just so if you're ever thinking that, you know, wow, they're just so strong. It's like, you know what? So is concrete. So is rebar. You know? But the thing about that kind of strength is that it can also be very isolating. Think about concrete and how hard that is. There's no fluidity there. There's no ability to bend and shift with wind, with change, to grow. sometimes being a pillar, as it says here, of strength, is really hurtful. It's a really hurtful way to be in the world. It's not loving. It's not nourishing. There is no community if you're a pillar of strength. If everybody comes to you and there's no one that you can go to, and there never has been anyone that you can go to, that is very isolating, and it can lead to depression. I mean, I probably have had bouts of depression. I wouldn't say that I am a depressed person, but I probably have had bouts of depression after some terrible things have happened, for sure. And I've had to use art, 12-step program, some friendships, education has been a big one for me in learning how to navigate certain things in the world. My bodywork training, my bachelor's degree in somatic psychology, my associate's degree before I went to get my bachelor's degree, my holistic health practitioner certification, studied for 3 years to become an HHP and to learn more about not just the body, but the body-mind connection, and not just through the lens of Western massage and bodywork, but also through the lens of Eastern massage and bodywork. So I have both viewpoints and both perspectives, and I feel like that has made my awareness a little bit more well-rounded. It's definitely expanded my viewpoint about body-mind connection and how important the body and the mind are as a unit, how intrinsically they function, how interdependent they are, and how one influences the other, right? The body influences the mind. If my body is not feeling right, my mind automatically will run away. And don't get me near Google. Oh my God, I have all the things, right? Don't Google symptoms, just don't do it to yourself. Go to your doctor or your homeopath or your psychic or whoever you go to, go pull some tarot cards, like get your crystals out, get your massage, whatever you need to do. But for the love, do not Google your symptoms, okay? Just go get it checked. However, whatever lens you're using, your acupuncturist, your Ayurvedic practitioner, whatever, nutritionist, I don't care. But don't Google your symptoms, okay? You send yourself right into a spiral. So if my body is having symptoms and I'm Googling my symptoms, then that creates a whole other situation in my body called anxiety. My blood pressure goes up, my heart starts racing, and then I'm back to the mind. So now we have this vortex of body, mind, body, mind, body, mind. And it's all out of whack. None of it is in harmony. There's complete disharmony happening. And that's not really beneficial. It's not beneficial to me. It doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't help me problem solve. It doesn't help me stay present in the moment. There's absolutely nothing good that comes from me doing that, right? And if my mind is the starting point, right? If my mind is the starting point and I am overthinking about everything, and I am obsessed with solving a problem, maybe I'm not eating, right? Or I'm not sleeping, or both. I'm not eating and I'm not sleeping. Maybe someone is overeating and oversleeping. Maybe someone is drinking or using some type of substance to try to calm the mind. That in turn has an impact in the body, right? So no matter how we are approaching something or avoiding something, the body and the mind are connected. And we can honor and value that wisdom, or we can pretend that it is not happening. And we can ignore it or avoid the symptoms and the messages from the body. Until I was looking all of these conditions up for folks, it never occurred to me to look up low blood pressure. Even though it's a condition I'm aware of having for, like I said, 2 decades. So that is low blood pressure, definitely something for me to continue to work on, and that is embracing this life. Even at almost 60, I still get to do that. I still get to embrace my life and move forward and enjoy the years that I have and make sure that they count. So on to the next one. More videos coming soon. Take care.